Okay, Biscuit, are you a good girl? Biscuit, down. Good girl. Ooh, there went my hand. Hi, I'm Larry, and this is Biscuit. Biscuit, for those of you who don't know, is a yellow Labrador retriever, and that's a type of dog that you may have divined. Yes, good girl, smart. No, just stay where you are. Biscuit and I are here doing a relatively cornball presentation, low production stuff, in order to get your attention on something that needs to be high production and is of the utmost importance and the utmost seriousness. That has to do for Virginia hospitals and health systems with the Virginia Medicaid budget, the one that will be considered beginning next January in the 2010 session of the Virginia General Assembly. That's when legislators, when they return to Richmond after the election that's now less than a month away, will need to deal with a 2-year state budget for our Commonwealth. And included in that will be the second largest item, the Medicaid program, second only to K through 12 education. Here's what the real problem is. We have listen hard to this one, we have a $1.7 billion hole in that Medicaid budget, a cliff off of which we can all dive together if adequate funding isn't included in the budget to fill that hole right to the brim. What's all that money about? It represents really two things. It represents increased utilization, more people in the program for the next fiscal biennium, but it also comes back to what was done during this year's session of the General Assembly when additional state funds were not put in Medicaid to keep the program at least running in place, but federal stimulus dollars were substituted for what otherwise would have been state revenues to fill the tank as best possible up to full. So we go into the next budget cycle really short. Think of it this way. $1.7 billion in state funding attracts an equal amount of federal funding for the Medicaid program. The total amount at risk, $3.4 billion. That is a staggering amount, and of and by itself, what we're dealing with in Medicaid exceeds the projected increases in state revenues for the next fiscal biennium. That is absolutely terrifying. And remember, health care isn't the only issue at the General Assembly. We have transportation. We have education, K through 12, higher education, including community colleges as well as the other colleges and universities. It's really big issue for next year, and guess what? All those other good folks who have great causes which we support are doing what? They're telling their communities and they're telling their legislators about how serious this thing is. Our ask of you today, and especially for those of you who haven't perceived yet that you have a dog in the fight, every hospital executive, every trustee of a system, every doctor, every nurse, every pharmacist, every therapist, just go down the entire list, have a dog in this fight to make sure that we're treated fairly and fully in the state budget process next year. Okay, two things to think about immediately while you're beginning to think about your own internal strategy and that with your community and your legislators. The two things, excuse me, my friend is adjusting herself here. The two things to think about are this. One, we will be emailing out to members of our community a survey. A survey we hope you will complete and return to us. It will deal with some of your thoughts on how these matters should be handled. It will also, we hope, begin the process of your thinking about how you'd handle substantial cuts. $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $20 million, $50 million, whatever it might be. How would you cost shift that much money? Indeed, if you can't, what other actions might you need to take in terms of cost savings or program curtailment that would make your budget balance in the importance of maintaining its fiscal integrity on the go-forward basis. The second, and I'll read these because I want to make sure I get them right for you. They should be flashed across the screen someplace right about now. Monday, October 19th, Biscuit, sit. Sit. See how she obeys me. Good girl. Monday, October 19th at 1 p.m. and Wednesday, October 21st at 9 a.m. We will be conducting two webinars They'll be the same, so you only need to call into one of them. And in those webinars, we'll be talking in greater detail with more facts about these subjects and begin the process of suggesting where you should be going with your own communication programs, your own campaigns. This is something about which you should really be very, very, very excited, and it's something in which everybody in the Virginia hospital and healthcare community has to pitch in to make sure that the job gets done and it gets done right. So thanks for watching our little cornball presentation here. I'm sure you have never seen anything more beautiful than this face. This is a face like Helen of Troy's that could launch 1,000 ships. Bye. Say bye, Biscuit.